Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to episode 131 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff. Happy to be back, guys, this week. A lot of exciting things to talk about heading to No Surrender. We'll go over that card and give predictions as well, because this is the last stop for us before so. And then next week, Lucha will be back to talk post No Surrender, what the landscape of Impact Wrestling looks like, including talking about Jay White tonight, talking about Mercedes odds. What's up, Millard? Good to see you, buddy. An exciting time. And then, as you can see there on the Tron, if you're watching this, either live, 8 p.m. live, twitch.tv/TNAIWChannel every Sunday, or if you watch on YouTube or listening on audio. For the audio listeners, I'll describe it, but in the cover art there, Alexander versus Swan, the seed has been planted. We'll talk about that. It's a nice little ending to the show, leading into No Surrender. We got one more, obviously, before, but a lot of possibilities. Is this the time they finally pull the trigger on where we've been, Lucha and myself, been begging for quite a bit? Good story for it to happen to. We'll talk about that, of course, the odds of Team Canada and so on. But I want to thank you guys first and foremost, not only rocking with me live here in the chat, or watching in the shadows, or watching on YouTube, or listening wherever you consume us. 359 on YouTube subs. The numbers keep rising. I appreciate that, guys. We haven't been pushing it as much. Rocking with who comes with on the first go around. Masalka, what's up? Only 5 more sleeps till Vegas. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's crazy. Time is flying. But yeah, I want to thank you guys. Views are up, and then for you guys who listen or watched on YouTube, you know there was a little bit of lag. Hopefully, I fixed it this week. I tried, but if not, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Get them subscribes up, the love, thumbs up, all the love. Yeah. All right, got too much to talk about, but let's get right into power rankings. You guys are loving the new show on Tuesdays with Lucha, Datala, and Bert. They're killing it, man. And you guys are literally the sole source of the show. You write the show. You could join the power rankings and make your vote after every Thursday's episode until Sunday at noon. You go and pop in the chat. You give the top 10. We do the rest. And you'll see the video you're about to see in just a second. And then on Tuesdays, they talk about it. Extensively talk about it. Really cool thing they're putting together. And you guys seem to be enjoying it. So it's awesome. Keep it going there. And of course, I also want to, before we get into power rankings, mention Thursdays Talking Bloody Nonsense is back with Craig and Nixon. They're back to doing their thing. Episode 56, if I'm not mistaken, so go check them out. Killing it there as always. All right, let's get into power rankings, because we got a lot to talk about.
Number 10, Deonna Purrazzo. Number 9, Digital Media Champion Joe Hendry. Number 8, No Surrender Heath. Number 7, X Division Champion Trey Miguel. Number 6, World Champion Mickie James. Number 5, Time Machine Kushida and the Motor City Machine Guns. Number 4, number 1 contender Masha Slamovich. Number 3, World Champion Josh Alexander. Number 2, number 1 contender Rich Swann. Number 1, No Surrender Steve Macklin.
All right, what's going on, Io? What'd you guys think of the power rankings? Once again, you can find out what they think on Tuesdays. And you can also join the power rankings at Burt Macklin 11 or at TNAIWChannel on Twitter. Write us either way. We'll get you in there easy. But everyone's seeming to like Macklin. Macklin getting his way into the No Surrender match for the number 1 contendership. I don't know. I could see Heath. You can make a case for Heath beating the harder of the opponents there. And Swan being number 1 contender. But hey, I will say, I will say I updated the pictures a little bit, and the point I make about that is, one, I think it was meant to be for, yes, and King vs. Swan was great, so he can make a play for 1 as well, on top of being number 1 contender. But Rich wearing the silver in the picture, he's the Silver Ranger there. It was perfect. Just for that. And Josh looking angry, like angry Josh again in the red. I dig it. But other than that, besides aesthetics, I think you can make an argument on this power rankings. But if you want to make a difference, once again, write us on Twitter and join the show. All right. Too much to talk about tonight, so let's keep this rolling. I always say we're going to start it off with BTI because that's where my night starts off as, and I like repeating stuff for the first time listeners or people who just, one ear out the other, like myself sometimes. But BTI, I understand watching a 1 hour recap show of the show that you watch weekly, it kind of doesn't make sense. Okay, I get that. But if you're a YouTube watcher like myself, you have that extra 30 minutes. Go back 20 minutes, watch Iceman Intel, so you get a little bit of that news that we're about to talk about. And then, of course, the match, which generally is now not only a banger, but adding some storyline to that. So we'll get there, but first I want to talk about Iceman Intel, because he's all over the place talking about this and that, but at the gist of it, it's about Swinger. Johnny Swinger's opponent tonight is a former WCW wrestler. Take our time. 76 Philly, what's going on? BTI starting to make sure they have at least one can't miss wrestler in each of them playing stories out. I agree. So for that reason alone, though, those matches in that Iceman Intel, got to catch it. So, but yeah, so a WCW wrestler is going to be Johnny Swinger's hopefully first victory on this road to 50. But I digress. We'll save that for a second. We won't jump too far ahead. But speaking of having can't miss, man, Datalo, what's going on? Can't miss. You got the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo on here, and she's taking on Steph DeLander. So Steph DeLander, I made the argument last week that there's no reason to stress the fact that these newcomers are coming in and losing. One, I think, I'll keep it short and sweet. One, we don't know if they're signed. Two, gone are the days of begging talent to come here and stay. Look, our people, now granted, they put her in a position where this argument is easy for me to say when they put her against Jordan the first week and Deonna the second. But the same with Anthony Green, it just seems like they're coming in for that ring of taping, and they see if they stick. I hope she does. But I like them putting her up against the best of the best here, the top echelon of the Knockouts division, with all due respect to Mickie. And she's getting some play. I think in the ring, smooth. I like what she brings to the table, man. I think the Knockouts World Order is in strong effect here, with, this match showing what one of our vets can do with someone who's literally a newcomer 2 weeks in. Thought it was a great match. Let Steph have some rub and some play there, so if she sticks around, she's proved her point. I think she got a little green still, right? Got to work on the character, got to work on the timing and the movements, and no wasted movements. But really enjoyed her. If this is just a quick stay, I enjoyed the quick stay. I hope she sticks around. I think there's money not only in her, but some other things, man. I said it last week just because of their size, man. Her and Savannah together, if Savannah needs something, would just be a powerhouse duo that, just like the Good Hands, given some people who need something, an opportunity. Doesn't mean they didn't win each week, but start building some chemistry. We'll see, though. Deonna picking up the win here. We updated that last week. Her contract, her sticking around for another year at the very least. But she picks up the win via the armbar, and Giselle attacks. So Giselle Shaw, who she's facing at No Surrender, she attacks, and she's with Jay, and they're going to try to get the redemption for the salty chili of last week. And like good wrestling comedy, it goes all over Jay and his cashmere. So they're slipping and slopping. He's selling. He's doing the fish in there, and I respect that. Respect it. making it a moment for himself, taking those little opportunities and doing the most with it. I dig that. Then they do the old put the two together, so Giselle gets some as well. Good times, good moments, and continues this storyline that seems to be ending, if I'm not mistaken, on the pre-show, or well, the countdown, right? Either way, two great matches in the countdown. So either way, this is gonna. I don't know. I'll save that. I was gonna jump into to a prediction, but let's talk about that when we get to the No Surrender card that we'll be hitting at the very end here. So we get to the main card, if you will, and we're starting off with our respects and condolences to the Jarrett family, as Jerry Jarrett, one of the co-founders of this company, has passed away, man. And another one that has it ties to what we love here at Impact Wrestling and to the wrestling community. Man, it just feels like, I hate to not make light of anything, but take a silver lining approach to this. But it's just the more this happens, the more we should start to connect that community a little bit, guys. See, S76 Philly, a great show this week, bookended by two absolute bangers. Yes, that is what's coming. I always say, man, Impact Wrestling tends to bookend their show with main events, and this is one of those, if Kenny and Rich didn't deliver like it did, that you can make an argument this was, they started off the show, the right way, but if you can't beat it, if it's hard to beat that going forward, but they made up for it with the main event, of course, and there was some good stuff in between. I don't want to take anything away from that. Just what a banger this match was, man. I was rewatching the clips, and I forgot, I don't know how, the Kushida senton to the outside. Just what good shit, man. The crowd was into this. Once again, connecting and continuing the storyline to get to No Surrender on the 3-on-3 Time Machine versus Bullet Club. With Kenta, did I say that right? Kenta? All right, yeah. It's weird to say these things like it's reality. Like, I feel like I don't want to say in a dream, but there's a lot we're going to be talking about tonight. And some stuff that just, I don't know if we're manifesting it, guys, or if we're just following the breadcrumbs. Life's going to be good for us Impact Wrestling fans. It already is, but I continue. So Kushida's going to pick up the win here. Once again, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I think there's a reason Time Machine's going to continuously go over until we get to No Surrender. Want to shout out to the Chris Bay and Ace Austin shirt. Didn't realize it was the mush of the two logos, which is pretty familiar. It looks pretty good right there, I don't think. Minus the font, but the logo. So cool shirt. Make sure you cop that. But also, Chris Bay, win, lose, or draw. He's been picking up more wins than losses lately, so that's good. We know he's, there's no doghouse. He's signed. Go check out his single that just came out, trying to get to 1K. I just retweeted it for you guys who are on Twitter. But I like making my comparisons and my compliments through comparison. And Chris Bay is like peak 6-pack for me. Beautiful, like NWO 6, and love it, man. Has the right vibe, has the right look. Obviously could kill it bell to bell. I know they're rocking with, obviously Ace can do the same, but the future for these two dudes. I think we could talk about that all show, but sick stuff here, and looking good even in the loss. A roll-up loss, so obviously that didn't hurt the cause either of protecting Bay. Interesting, we're bookend by main events and bookend by roll-ups for finishes, but it doesn't happen too often. Next up, Santino and Tommy are back there waiting on Bully, and this segment is paid for by Busted Open Radio. Catch it all week. Dave LaGreca, Santino's Greek friend. And they're talking here, and Bully eventually does join, and it looks like at No Surrender they're going to have... they're both going for the gold in the Petty Olympics. I don't know. These are 50-year-old men arguing over. I don't know. Still a pleasure to have Pulley on TV. Glad that Busted Open's giving us some rub, obviously. But you got to pay to play. And these segments we're paying to play. And it will carry on next week when both of these individuals will have beat the clock challenges. Should be in the favor of Bully Ray since most of his matches are about 45 seconds. I still love Bully. That's not a thing. I'm just saying reality is reality. So regardless, whoever wins next week with the best time will get to speak first on the Busted Open Radio No Surrender debate. How you guys feel about that? Are you excited? Are you complacent? Who cares? I'm not really who cares. I look, it's one of those things with Impact where I always kind of judge these things prior. Oh, this is gonna, and then they play out and it's not just an argument or a debate over something stupid. There's gonna probably be some nice little surprises that continue the story, some shit that goes down. It's not gonna just be them going back and forth about the relationship. So I'll be patient at the same time, wouldn't fault you if you jump the gun. If you jump the gun a little bit. But we'll start with next week and we'll see where this goes. Once again, give my props to Bully, who everything he's done so far has been entertaining. So why not this? Next up is the qualifier for No Surrender. Steve Macklin coming out first. And what a complete culmination of everything we wanted for Steve Macklin. Not only is he winning here over Rhino, a former champion nonetheless, but going to a number one contendership match at the pay-per-view. Millard says, Geoff, what was faster, Bully Ray match or Chelsea at the Royal Rumble? Oof. I'm going to go Chelsea, unfortunately. She's killing it, though. Good for her. But yeah, culmination of everything. Originally I said, man, Steve Macklin just needs to go out there, put on a Punisher jacket, and I said smoke a cigar. He doesn't need to obviously pick that up, but just be that Wolverine, that Lobo, that Punisher, and just go out there and tear shit up. The graphics, the entrance, everything they've done for this dude makes him feel big time. Everything the work he's put in the ring, and to mold him. I mean, who thought this dude was going to come in here and be someone that not only the Power Ranking Committee keeps pushing to be number one, that everyone in the fan base just wants this dude to kill it. And he is. So he's picking up the win here. He's going to go to No Surrender. I'm telling you, it's hard to reach Stone Cold level. Come on. We're not, obviously that's the heyday of heyday. But this dude is the ringmaster right before Stone Cold. And I don't know if now is the time to pull. It's not a debate if the time is now to pull the trigger. It's how we tell the story. And I think we're going in the right direction where we can tell the story quicker or sooner rather than later, and build Macklin as a babyface. So let's continue. Gia's backstage, and we don't need to try to crappily translate this like I did the previous week. Masha is, she's got some subtitles. We know what she's talking about, Mickie. Keeping it short and sweet to begin with, but then laying down the law. And invites Mickie to be ringside. Look, for something that obviously, I'm going to say obviously now because we'll get to it later with Mercedes, but this was plan B for Masha. Let's call a spade a spade. You don't have to, I don't know anyone backstage. I don't know any of that. It was 100% following breadcrumbs and intuition. You don't make someone who you think is going to be your next big thing lose twice and then not snap it and then win that third time without having a big ass reason for it. And not only when that happens, will I be excited for that to happen with Mercedes. The job they've done with, and I don't say picking up the pieces, she's a freaking star, but finding what that thing is for Masha, still making her feel important, not making those losses not mean anything, and still develop her character along the way. It's phenomenal. I'm very happy with what Masha, the time they've given her here, and I don't want to say reconstruction, but the rehabilitation of her potency. I don't know. Anyways, let's continue. We're on the road to 50, and we're still on the road, man, or we're still, I don't know, at a pit stop. Where do you start? In the parking? We're still in the freaking driveway. Johnny Swinger is taking on a former WCW head talent, and it's Barry Horowitz at Barry Horowitz WWE, by the way, on Twitter. Yeah, man. Cool to have Barry Horowitz there. It's always weird. You don't want to critique these things. It's fun. It is what it is. It's comedy, but it still, gives a pop to a vet to come in here, and people give him the chant, and he looked good, and, Datla said, I thought for sure Swingman had it in the bag. Yeah, odds were in your favor on that. Barry Horowitz, a job man, if you will, enhancement, but always being, always having the great work rate, just not giving the... Did he do in the later days of WCW, did he have the golf thing with Barry Darsow as well? Can't remember. Maybe they wrestle each other on a live event I went to. I don't remember. Anyways, yeah, cool to see him. Glad he got his flowers there. But first, there's a distraction by none other. And we're going to Vegas, so I imagine he's going to be there for the loop. But the Demon's there. Yeah, no harm, no foul. Plays into the whole Johnny Swinger and having some, ex-foes. I don't know. You enjoy this, you enjoyed this. If you didn't, you didn't. But interesting nonetheless, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but cool for Barry Horowitz. Sucks that Swinger keeps losing. I will make this point. I did not know, once again, I also didn't know Mickie was done with the last rodeo, so it's not a surprise, but the road to 50 gets Swinger a world title shot. In that case, I still want him to do it and then have that big moment against whoever. I think that'd be funny and a great moment. But I thought it was for him to get Swinger's Palace back, or Swinger's Dungeon, the funding for that. So I just want to admit that I'm wrong there as well. Still hope he gets the 50 and gets that moment. But Gia's next. She's talking to Moose for a second. He's talking Hendry, and he's talking about how he's going to get even now. He wants to get even now, and he's going to head outside. I guess he's trying to get to Cardona's locker room. But then he keeps going and gets to a car that we are supposed to assume is Joe Hendry's. And he's going to teach him a lesson or send him a message by busting out his car window. We find out quickly that it's Santino's car. Hendry comes up and says that he left a letter on Santino's car. I guess he didn't need to do that, assuming that after Santino made the match, the letter was no longer needed, meaning he was requesting a match with Moose, and all of this Moose angst and window breaking was unnecessary. So a cool little segment. I always like when they expand the universe, if you will. I like when there's different props and stuff involved. Takes us out of the same thing all the time. But the penny pincher in me says, "Why we gotta bust out windows?" This is a segment that's gonna be forgotten in a couple weeks. Why the hell are we smashing someone's windows? Now, if this is a rental and you had the insurance, if that's the case, go for it. But yeah, I thought it was interesting route. If that was me, Moose would be paying for the damages. He's ex-player after all. Yeah. But yeah, so now we lock it in. No surrender. The digital media title is on the line. Joe Hendry putting it up against Moose in a dot combat match. So add that to the bangers that are already lined up. We'll go over that with our predictions as well at the end of this. But let's move on. So next up is the next of the two qualifiers. Eddie Edwards here, and Eddie's going to get distracted by PCO and or the signs of PCO, the thunder and the lightning and the darkness. But Heath's going to pick up the win with the wake-up call, and Heath advances. Okay. Now, .com match equals Reddit flame war. So I honestly thought they were going to go with Eddie winning here and advancing. They're going the route of PCO costing costing Eddie the match here, which is interesting because PCO advanced, so PCO will be there. And And I imagine Eddie maybe interrupts there to, I don't know, take PCO out of that match. I do want to mention that as well, because I forgot to in the beginning with Steve Macklin. When he won with the wake-up call, which was, obviously Rhino's partner Heath's finisher. So we get 2 wake-up calls in the night. Interesting to see what they do with that. They're both in the number 1 contendership match after this match, so we'll see if they play off of that or not. But Heath picking up the win, and Eddie's losing and won't be on the card, it seems. So unless he's involved with the PCO, moment there. Next up, we're going to go to a few talking points that kind of flow really well aesthetically. First is the design. Piece of hair. The design, and they're getting Sammy up to speed. Diener setting the right tone here. I like this. The aesthetic's nice. The tone's nice. The somberness of it is right. They're getting it, man. They're gelling. They're finding their way. Angel's got to talk here a little bit. But basically saying that Sammy, continuously, or got to continue his steps. Frankie is going to take on Khan at No Surrender. So we'll see what happens there. But they're continuing the design storyline. What do you guys think about it? Where do you think this plays out? Is Sammy doing some intel work? Is it all a ruse? We'll see. Right after this, the Hex is with James Mitchell, and James Mitchell is introducing his what he believes to be the soon-to-be tag team champions, and Allison Kay and Marty Bell, the Hex, both returning here. So James Mitchell is going to peace out because he has other business to attend to. He's sold his soul. He's got a lot of things to work on, including Havoc. Interesting. Also mentioning that Rosemary's dad isn't pleased. Is this the time? Is this the split? Are the Hex the next tag team champions? How would you guys feel about that? Be nice to have some new fresh blood there, right? I think they have a good look together. I think they're very punny. Very punny for someone who tried ruining one of our pay-per-views not too long ago. But they're here, so let's let bygones be bygones. And I dug this. They didn't sell their souls, so that means they're not tied with James Mitchell, it seems. But who knows where this goes? I hope they stick around for the long haul. Once again, good look. Another tag team. Got chemistry and cohesion. And they got some history. Well, they're not always the best history, but they got some history in Impact Wrestling. So I like it. We'll see what happens here. And I'm interested. Yes, James Mitchell did say Havoc. Not Jessica, but Havoc. Interesting, right? Salko, yep. Havoc and ducking out is wonderfully funny. Yeah, I thought these little moments were nicely done. We had a few good ones throughout the show here. Now, Mickie James is coming out, and she's going to be on commentary. She's going to join Matt and Tom, be on commentary. And kind of just pushing her and Masha thing full steam ahead. She's got to show that she does respect the match between her and Masha after Bully Ray kind of planted that seed. But Lish is going to come out. Lish looking good, man. New gear. Look, for someone who is obviously a great locker room person, is part of the locker room family, always a great hand. The least you could do is put her in a tag team that is consistent, right? Give this woman something that she could be on a regular basis. Are they holding off for Eddie? I don't know, maybe, but for a tag division that we say we want more tag teams to develop, we want people who are mainstays in there, why not Lish instead of constantly being the enhancement talent? Looking good, always decent on the mic. Put something together. All right. But she's picking up a loss here. Maybe that's where I'm going with this. But Masha's gonna destroy Lish here. Masha looking tough, looking like what we saw for week in and week out prior to her Jordan feud. So good to see that. Mickey's gonna come in because after the victory, Masha's gonna Masha, and she's gonna choke out Lish even more. So Mickey's gonna come in, try to make the save. She was successful, and then Masha attacks, and she chokes her out. Great segment. Refs come in. and we hype that matchup even more. I like it. Next up, here's one of those other segments. Once again, the I don't want to say character. I guess the character of these promos packages and little things they're doing. In this case, Decay talking about Trey Miguel. I love this stuff, man. It does feel very back in the day, TNA. But it also is very much now. They've been killing it. This team has been putting out some really good shit. So you got to give production their props on these things, man. Pretty cool, and this is no exception, obviously. Crazy Steve's talking about how him and Trey are intertwined, that if he gives him a match next week, not at No Surrender, but next week, so this coming Thursday, he gives him a shot at that title, he'll leave him alone after this, so you could see that maybe this is the write-off of whatever with them. I imagine Trey keeps it, but it means Decay can move on to something else, and there's a lot of witchy and dark stuff going on, so I'm sure Decay can find something to pick them up right thereafter. But for me, it puts on those spidey senses tingling. Shout out to Lucha, by the way. Oh, I actually have something from Lucha that he sent me that you guys will be interested in. So I'll use it as the cliffhanger. So I got some photo evidence that I want to put forward. But yeah, the spidey senses are tingling here. And if you're going to move him on to the next feud, is it for the next opponent? It's possible. Is it to maybe expand his company, his group? It's possible. I'm hoping. That's the next stop here. But either way, we're going to get Monsters Ball this coming Thursday. After that, we have the BTI flashback, kind of back-to-back weeks, which I love. This gives people a reason to watch BTI, shows you that they are continuing storyline. They are putting on bangers. Gresham and Speedball week 1, week 2, and then both challenging and then challenge accepted for the No Surrender countdown show. Gresham versus Speedball. But when we come back, Santino and Dango, the dictator of authority and the deputy dictator of authority. Love this little Dwight and Mike from The Office kind of spiel they got going on. But Dango has a good idea that Santino approves of. Once again, another little comedy spot that I enjoyed. But next week, the two faces, I guess, Gresham and Speedball will team up to take on Motor City Machine Gun in a non-title match. So we get a great match out of it. We can further continue the storyline. Once again, the trope doesn't have to happen. They don't have to mess up, but it's possible. Give some steam to that match heading into Friday. Next up, Matt and Tom are going to push this coming week's matchups, which we'll hit in a little bit. And they also talk New Japan. Nice New Japan references throughout here on the commercial play. And then we're going to get to our main event, man. Kenny King has been killing it. If you're surprised, then you're not familiar with his work, and that's okay. Dude is just another level right now. And there's some really talented people in Honor No More. Some stuck around. Wish a few more had. But at the end of the day, to obviously keep PCO and then Kenny King sticks around back home in Impact. What a win. And he's going up here against Rich Swann in a banger. In an absolute banger, man. Bell to Bell Entertainment. What do you? I mean, is anyone surprised? I should ask that. If you're surprised, let me know that these two killed it in a main event. But Kenny taking the pin here in a roll up, so not looking weak, and then getting a chair to prove his point of not being weak. And Josh is going to come out and try to make the save. Josh being the ultimate face, the ultimate friend to Rich. Was begging to give Rich a title shot for the longest time because they're buddies and he deserves another shot, and I'm a good guy. And we're going to actually use that as a transition because Josh is going to come out here to make that save, and Rich, for the second week in the row, is going to accidentally, well, first week was intentional when he sucker punched Kenny King, but here he accidentally hits his buddy Josh right before the go home show to No Surrender. So we get a great match to end the night. We get a great continuation of this storyline, development of this storyline. I thought it was a good show, man. They've done a great job of building Rich as an underdog who can pull it off, Miss Alko says. I agree, man. That video package, even though, last week I was talking about Rich and seeing where you guys are at the temperament, I think Rich always deserves to be a top player here. Does that mean he needs to win the world championship? No. Does it mean he can't win the world championship? No. It just means he's so good at what he does. He's a plausible threat to any title at any time. And sometimes, hey, being a good hand is a detriment to yourself. But, hey, at the same time, you can look at the silver lining of that, and it's a dude who continuously keeps a job, who has the love and admiration of the fans and his fellow co-workers. I was saying he just needs more high-profile feuds like with Eddie and like Eddie and Sammy has. Yeah, that's true. I mean, different reasons, injuries, and then different things. One could say they gave him the highest profile feud with Kenny Omega, and so we'll see where that plays out. He's got the talent. I love Rich, but do I think he's going to win this? No. Like I said, do I want him to win in an underdog way next time he does win the world title? Not at all. I want, even if it's as the underdog, that's fine. Let's build to it. Let's build those high profile storylines, as Io just said. Let's keep building him as that whatever position you want him in, and then let the fans be behind the win. Besides, for whatever reason, coming off injury, whatever it may be, the Kenny match, whatever. It just it didn't give him his due, especially with no fans being there. And that's the point I was trying to make last week. I'm going to make it again. So if we're going to do it as the underdog way, you want to build him as a face or whatever, that's fine. But let's give him those feuds to overcome so everyone is behind the win. He gets the pop he deserves, and we're not just, here's a victory on no surrender. All right. Anyways, what did you guys think of the show? I gave it a B-, man. I didn't think it was bad by any means whatsoever. I also just give him that All Night Long Lionel Richie song. Changing that song's not gonna. I always dig his music when he comes out, man. You already know who it is. He's hyped. I like it. Paying $1 million an episode for that song isn't gonna put him over the top. But yeah, I wanted it to be. I thought there was a B-. There's a lot of good stuff that happened. A lot of good continuity. A lot of good development. Great show, top to bottom. But yeah, that's what I went. 76 Philly had a B+. Liked it better than last week for me. Okay. See, it's hard. I have to remember. Like, sometimes I give it a higher grade, and I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, I did like it better than last week, and I gave it a higher grade. I don't know. I also saying a solid B+ as well. Masalko saying I go with solid B. Nothing super memorable despite lots of good stuff. That's a fair assessment. That's where I'm at. All right, guys, but nonetheless, we are in a point where we could debate over B's and B+ and A's for Impact on the regular. It's a good spot to be, and it's only going to get better. And let's continue that into hot topics. So the first one I want to talk about, actually, as I said, I was going to transition with Josh's title reign. It's not really news. It's just something that we've been talking about for quite a while, which is Josh's title reign being a very Bret Hart-like run. He, in the article, in an interview, he just mentioned that the same thing. Really dig that, because it is. He's that face is a face. He will take on any challenger, get a little angry, he'll get a little personal here and there, but he's not doing it for blood feuds. He's doing it for the sport, to be a champion of champions for the people, his family and stuff, and done a damn good job. Said before, does it give him his... It's hard to give someone their complete flowers when they're just wrestling people that aren't intertwined in some kind of blood feud, right? We had that with Bully, and that really helped. He's had bangers along the way. We can't take that away from him. But when you're a face champion, that is what it is. So to be just entertaining and do your job and put on great matches as he's done, kudos. There's nothing wrong in that. But as we know, with Brett, eventually, Brett's reign, he changes too. And Brett turns heel. And who turns face? It's the ringmaster, eventually. Or prior, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that's where we're headed, fellas. And ladies, or whoever, whatever. Whoever's out there watching and listening. I thank you once again. Get up those likes, subscribes, all that jazz. But yeah, man, I think we're headed to a place where Angry Josh is going to poke his head. We saw with Speedball, with Kenny King exposing that and getting Speedball to snap a little bit. I said with Josh, for this friend feud of giving my friend a chance, I think you need to set something in there. Josh gets injured somewhere and Rich takes advantage of that because in the spirit of competition, no surrender, and it makes Josh snap. Or, in this case, Rich accidentally hits him, which seemed legit, accidentally. And Josh is going to remember that. And maybe at no surrender, he can't put him away because Rich is the real deal. Bell to bell, this dude is legit always a chance to take any title that he's in there for. So what happens after Josh can't put him away? What happens after Rich won't tap? I think Josh snaps. And, I know I've been beating the war drums for Team Canada for a while, but Scott D'Amore is gone and he wasn't given his due. Speedball snapped a little bit. Josh is on that pace. I'm telling you guys, I think that's where we're headed. I think that puts Macklin as the All-American, if you want to say that, hero. Millar's saying, I've been saying that for months, Geoff. Double turn by Josh and Macklin. Yeah, I think, that's, if we were going to get Team Canada, and it wasn't going to be a face, it only makes sense to create someone who can then be the sting to the NWO. Okay. And what makes me think that, sorry, I'm trying to focus, and also Josh was definitely visibly irritated last night when Kushida wouldn't release his submission on him after the bell rang. Had some shoving words and showing some hints of angry Josh. 76 Philly with the scoop. There you go. Let's get it. Let's get it. And yeah, I really don't have much more to say on that. It is something, you guys been mentioning that we've been talking about. And with them keeping the belt on Josh, there had to be some kind of change. There has to be some kind of protection. Because if this giant run of Josh's just ended at him as a face and someone finally taking him out, okay, cool. Great run, Josh. What's next for Josh? But if you do it that way, where you get the fans behind Macklin and you get the fans on Josh, kill two birds with one stone. And then when Josh finally loses as a heel, it's okay. And what makes me think about this too is that the timing is right. And we're going to get to that in the card as well. But if you follow the breadcrumbs, if Macklin wins this number one contenders match, right? They're going to build it a little bit, maybe, right? Well, not maybe. They're going to build it. And guys, help me here. You guys know the calendar better than I. But I think what's going to happen is Macklin would get his title shot pretty quickly. Is it right after, this happens, after Josh turns or whatever? If he does at No Surrender, I don't know. But it can happen to then where Team Canada forms screws Steve Macklin. And then the following at Rebellion is Macklin's crowning moment. In front of the Canadians, oh, that's difficult. I don't know, guys. Let me know. Where's the timing at? Where do you guys think? Does that play into each other? Does that all feed each other? Does that storyline all feed? Yeah, whatever. All right. Let me know what you guys think. Is that the route you want to go? Obviously, Millard said something he's been saying for months. So it seems to be, it seems to be the temperature of the room. Everyone would like that. Keep Josh relevant. Build your next star. And give us a merch, a damn cash cow in library and merch in Team Canada. So I don't know. Either way, exciting things. Iowa and they're saying Multiverse United sold out. It did. All right. Geoff, how would you feel if CM Punk came back into Impact? Yes. Well, let's, you know what? I'm not going to, that was going to be the cliffhanger, so I'm not going to get too much into that. But yeah, Lucha had sent me that picture that you're speaking of. So let's bring it in now. You got CM Punk talking with Scott and Lou and Giselle Shaw. Guessing that's the wrestlers section. I don't know. But interesting. Look, I'm a CM Punk mark from the get. All right. I try to separate the art from the human being at certain points, but you can't always look. Art is subjective, right? And I guess personality of somebody is too, but we don't know. I don't know this dude. You guys assume. I assume. The dirt sheets assume for the little they know him. We see what he shows us, but who am I to judge? So if he walks into a locker room that is willing to listen to a veteran, no, you're good. No issue at all. If you do walk into a locker room and the people there, as Deanna said last week, as they should be, should be willing to listen to veterans. Maybe the story's different. Maybe his attitude's different. Maybe he feels more welcome in there. I don't know, man. It's a lot less work schedule, even though they had him working a lot. He's up there, man, in age. He hasn't been doing this for a long time, in a long time on a consistent basis. So if his body can hold up and he's worth the money, then hey, let's roll. But once again, you gotta walk on the side of caution. And I'm not comparing Hulk Hogan in 2009 to CM Punk in 2023. But we were nervous when we were fighting. Now, granted, there were some things that Impact was definitely still, TNA was definitely still working on before Hogan came in here. Let's be fair. But we took that chance. And I always remember that interview where someone asked AJ that, what would you think about a Hogan coming in here? And he's like, well, name value is cool and all that, but I don't want anyone coming in here and messing the chemistry and the what we got working on as a family here in TNA. And they went for it. They gambled. They spent money. They spent big money. Money that they could put into, advertising or building a better set or re-signing some of the wrestlers. And the well dried up quick. So I don't want to make the same mistake now where we're finally on a roll. We're getting advertising. We're locking up our the people that have rolled with us since day one, and then shoot our load on some guy who gets injured or doesn't is an issue in our locker room chemistry. Not saying it would be, just saying let's look at all the options here. So what do you guys think? I mean, I'm up for anything. And him being on in Impact would only bring more eyes. But I can't be a hypocrite and not say that I still have to be for the business side. RK Shuttlesworth, welcome back. It would be more eyes to Impact, but would he become disgruntled about something? Who knows? And Punk was my number one dude for like 20 years. Same. Worth the money is key. That's what Masalko's saying. I'm there too, man. We're a Moneyball team. We are. Have we been able to swing a little bit and re-sign a Jason Giambi? Yeah, sure, man. We're the Athletics with the with the little cap. But is this the swing we take? I just think, I don't know. Everything has to line up. You also have to remember that. It's like, oh, well, why didn't we take this swing on Bray? Why didn't we take this swing on this? Timing. What the person wants. The person's options. CM Punk's options are, I mean, he's still CM Punk, but, what does he want to do at the end of his career? Does he want to be in control of it, or does he want to go back to somewhere, and I mean, still could have that Brock type, deal, but I don't know. Hey, if he adds to it and it doesn't break the bank, let's roll. All right. So speaking of other people that seem more than likely to come in, and you know what? Actually, I'll take that approach on it. I won't say there's more than likely to come in. I will say that it's a great time for us as Impact fans that when you have interviews with people like Jay White and Mercedes Moné, for them to be asked, well, where do you feel you'll turn up next? And both of their first options, when they said it, they're not first options, excuse me, that's assuming too much, but their first point to make was, I could show up in Impact, and then they list on the other things they could do. So for Jay White and Mercedes both in this week to have interviews where they say, where are you going to turn up next? So, I don't know, where knows, maybe I could be an Impact, I could be this, I could be there. It's pretty cool, man. I'm going to take those dubs where we can. But Jay White he just lost his match. Loser leaves town, not only to Japan, in Japan against Hikuleo, but now for New Japan Wrestling against Kingston. Jay White has to leave New Japan. I don't know if he has some time on his contract still, or if he's a complete free agent. If he has a little contract time left and they're donating him to Impact for you to run the rest out, thanks, New Japan. But I don't know. That's another thing. Could you afford, if a Jay White and a Mercedes, well, Mercedes would be different because I think it's through New Japan as well, even though I think Jay White could be as well. Let's say Jay White's a free agent. Let's say Mercedes isn't through New Japan. Could you get a Jay White and a Mercedes for a good 6 months run for the cost of CM Punk for a year? Would those 6 months do more for you than the initial shock of CM Punk and then that, so there's that kind of factor as well. Well, Jay White has been an Impact, so that would be no surprise. Well, yes, but he's been an Impact through New Japan. If we're saying he's done with New Japan, he's going to be a free agent, him coming to Impact would be a surprise. Him saying Impact first when he has options as a free agent at WWE, where's that place called? AEW? Pro Wrestling. He has options. So if he's a free agent and he has options, and the narrative is Impact can't sign big talent because the money and da-da-da, him saying Impact first is a big deal. So to me, it is a surprise. And with Mercedes, I've been tooting this horn and saying follow the breadcrumbs for a long time, and not only did she tweet the picture of her as champion, I don't know if she had the belt or not, because I think she just won, right? But her, and then a picture of Mickie from the Impact Wrestling roster page with the title. She also mentioned that she could go to Impact and face a certain person there, alluding to Mickie. So it might not be for the last rodeo, it might not be for her career, but the stars are aligned, man. The odds are up. I said 52 or 3% of hard to kill. I don't know. She's in the States. Do I think she appears at Sam's Town Casino for No Surrender? It's possible. But they're going to set the tone soon. And I think for Rebellion, we're going to get Mercedes versus Mickie James. Yeah, I don't care. I'm okay to be wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. I usually am. But, guys, too much. Too much. What are your guys' thoughts, man? And I want to know about that. I want to know that. Would you guys prefer, well, let's let that be the cliffhanger, is CM Punk worth what he brings to the table? And then 1B, if you have the chance of bringing in 2 stars, would you rather do that than having, Myers saying, you called it, Geoff. I trust your instinct. I sometimes follow the right scent. Sometimes. But I'm gonna put that to the test right now because we're gonna talk about the no surrender card, and I am gonna make some predictions. I want to know what you guys think. Lay it on me in the chat here or in the comments section. You guys are always awesome about doing that. See what you guys predict. But we're gonna start with the no surrender card. We're gonna start with Gresham versus Bailey. This is a toss-up for me. I think Gresham continues to win now. He needs some more wins, but if he takes another loss, is it going to hurt him? I don't think so. They could just start him on the next cycle of getting him actually into a storyline. He does need the dub more, per se. I agree. But after No Surrender Loop, they can, or right after the pay-per-view, they can put him into a new feud that actually means something instead of just, these matchups. And I think he's just a victim. It has nothing to do with what they think of him. I think it's just a timing of when he came in and where the storylines have been planned prior. It's not his talent level. That's for sure. But he's going to face Bailey. The Bailey thing makes more sense if I think he's going to continuously be more and more pissed off. More and more show that anger. I guess that could work both ways. Does he show some anger and beat Gresham? Or does he lose and then snap more? This is a toss-up for the sake of making my final prediction. Now, there is going to be obviously Thursday, so it might change my mind. But for the purpose of Bailey continuing his, I'm going to prove I'm an... It kind of works both ways. You can really roll the dice on this one. Screw it. I'll go Gresham. Because you need they're both faces, so that really defeats my next thing. Because next up is going to be Deonna versus Giselle. And they're lining up where Deonna keeps getting the upper hand here. We'll see what happens this Thursday. It could go either way. I agree for this one. Deonna's sticking around, but just like Gresham, and I don't know if that's the contracting, if they knew they were going to roll her in or not. I mean, of course they wanted to, but maybe working it out or not. But it just feels like Deonna's kind of floundering right now and winning, getting showcased. But after this card, then she could pick up just like I was alluding to with Gresham. But I think it makes sense for the Black Widow Giselle to pick up a cheap win. So you got a heel there, and then Gresham maybe picking up a win in a babyface fashion. So it's possible. Are we going to talk about the Petty Olympics? Are we going to bust it open? I don't know. I just hope we win as fans. So what they do is a surprise, is good, and a surprise, I'll be happy. That's all I got for that. Let's continue that up. The Time Machine. So Time Machine, Kushida, the Motor City Machine Guns are going to take on Bullet Club with Kenta. I don't think you bring Kenta in and have him lose his first match in Impact. Not going to happen. And I don't know if there's other Bullet Club members at play here. Possible. But I think they're going to pick up the dub. And there's no harm, no foul, because Kushida won this week over Bay. Maybe Motor City Machine Guns pick up a dub next week over Gresham and Bailey. So no harm, no foul. They're still the tag team champions. Probably going to be trios champions eventually with Kushida, which is really cool. Keep collecting. Where do you guys want to go next? Let's go Frankie Khan. Let's talk about the design, the match here. I don't think it makes sense for Frankie to lose. Hey, Loyal Hiveling 44, welcome back, joining the party. Frankie versus Khan. Look, you don't bring, once again, just kind of like the Kenta thing, you don't bring Frankie in just to push him back. Khan, no harm, no foul. If he loses, the design is a faction as long as they're sticking strong. That's all that matters. We don't know the next step in this here. Masalko saying I'd like to see Khan win here. It'll be a story match regardless. It will be a very good point. It'll be a story match, something to continue that going forward. So I guess Frankie loses. It doesn't really matter because I'm sure he'll be involved in that story for the time being. But Khan's on. Look, Khan, even though he's lost in some tag team things, and then he lost, his debut before he wasn't even in the design, beat Sammy. So a win here against Frankie, keep building that stature. I like him, man. And he signed. He believes in the company believes in him. And he's trying to make design gel. So more power to him. But I'm going to go with Frankie. Even if it's a quick win and then they beat him down afterwards. I just hoping Frankie gets a win here. All right. Let's keep going. And let's save all the title matches. Let's go number 1 contenders. We got Macklin, Myers, Heath, and PCO. I'll go down each of these, man, because I really don't know. I think that's the best way to look at it. RK Shuttle, if Frankie loses by some kind of shenanigans, it would not hurt. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm on the same page. Continuing the story. Sacrificial lamb for the story. But the number 1 contenders, let's play through them. Is Heath going to win this? Heath versus Josh, if that's who we believe is going to keep the title. I don't think that does much for Josh, or I don't think that's really the route we're going here. And Heath and Macklin have a little sparking of a feud with him stealing his move, right? But at the same time, that could just be something that, maybe Macklin pins Heath, something of that nature. And after being number 1 contender, Heath says they continue that and they fight for that. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. There's got to be something at play here. Maybe Macklin doesn't win. Maybe that's their way of getting him out of the picture. Brian Myers, I think he's going to need to find his footing. And it's not going to be hard for him. They'll put him in something and he's going to excel at it. But I don't think this is it. I think he's kind of, Cardona's going to on his way out or already gone. So they're keeping his name relevant, and rightfully so. And then PCO, I see long shot. PCO wins Canada versus Canada next pay-per-view. I think there's too much in the Eddie feud with PCO for him to get a win here unless they go the PCO wins and Eddie and him feud over the number 1 contendership before Josh actually defends. Because I think there's going to be something that stalls Josh for a little bit, if it's that turn or whatever, from defending. But once again, not good with the calendar, so let me know if I'm talking out my ass. But I think it makes the most sense for Macklin to win and then still have some things that push him around, whatever, push him down, and then he finally gets it and he gets screwed over by Josh's full heel turn or Canada or Team Canada or whatever. That is something we have to remember, because Rebellion is the first true pay-per-view, multiverse in a way, but one of our big 4 in Rebellion. So you have to think about. I have to think about that. Do they want a pro or a Team Canada faction possibly be looked at as faces in Canada, which makes sense, and Macklin get the boot? Yeah, I don't know. That's hard. Maybe that doesn't even happen. Maybe Josh stays face in Macklin, but I don't think that's the case. What do you guys think? Are they going to go straight for Macklin? Then we kind of feel the ride there for Macklin until he finally beats Josh? Or are they going to go another route to give Josh someone to feed prior to Rebellion? Or is it Canada versus Canada? No Cardona listed for Vegas, although Myers is listed. Yeah, no, Myers re-signed, so that makes sense. The Cardona thing, look, I said it last week, was it? Or the week before, I don't remember. These all falling into each other. It just felt like that was the goodbye show. Let's put him in every segment. Let's use him. Let's send him off in a good, a funny way. Give him, use the most out of his talents, and then put over our dude at the end and kind of write off, something with him and Myers. I think that's the case. But yeah, let me know what you guys think here. Are they going to go straight for the Macklin win and kind of start his journey to the top of how he's going to get there? It's not going to be a clear shot. His journey already hasn't been a clear shot to a title shot. This isn't going to be a clear shot. I don't see that happening. Let's keep it going. We're talking about Hendry definitely murdered him on the way out. Speaking of Hendry, let's talk about that combat match. Moose versus Hendry. I said Hendry clearing last time, and then Moose had that sneak win that was overturned. What do you guys think? I think they're obviously pushing Joe to the moon, but if you have Moose, I'm also say Macklin somehow gets cheated. Maybe Eddie interference also impacts Macklin. It's a good point as well. Stall for some time, right? Especially if Josh turns at the pay-per-view, Rich is going to want his for a little bit as well. So do you run it back with Josh and Rich the next pay-per-view and then go from there? So yeah, there's a lot of different ways. I like this, man. I'm okay with having the worst prediction score of all time if the show delivers and there's some interesting things that happen, even if we saw them coming. Sometimes that's the right thing. Millard's saying the same thing. Macklin gets screwed over in some kind of way. I'm okay with that. I think him doing Heath's finisher, just red flags, right? Something to that. I think it'll be either Macklin or PCO Windsor. Okay. Now you gotta remember, it doesn't necessarily mean this person is gonna face him at Rebellion. So it could just be, what is next? Sacrifice. Let's stick with the World Championship. Josh versus Rich. I think he can't put Rich away, and it makes him snap a little bit. I think Angry Josh pokes his head out. And we get Josh over Rich here, keeping the world title. And maybe defending against Rich again. Maybe, who knows. How many wins did Swinger get over the past 3 days? I think he got that Goldberg bump. I think he's at 49 over the house shows this weekend. So in the territories. So Swinger may be the challenger at Rebellion as well. And last but not least, we have the world title matchup. Mickie James versus Masha. And I'm going to go Mickie here. I don't think it hurts Masha. I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle. I think Mickie barely escapes. And do we get that moment? She's got it. She's fine. She beat Masha. She's blood, sweat, and tears. And then Mercedes comes out. Will she do that at Sam's Town in Vegas? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Is this the time? Do they wait for Rebellion? Well, maybe the match herself could be Rebellion, but I just feel like this is another good time. So I was wrong when Hard to Kill, obviously. I'm still going to stake my claim and say this is the opportunity. That's what's next for Mickie James. And what a way to end that. If this main event's the show, I think we got our answer. Then again, we said that was Hard to Kill, right? But I'm okay with being wrong as long as we have fun doing it. But speaking of that, guys, it has been a pleasure as always talking you to death about Impact Wrestling. I want to go over obviously what we're going to catch this Thursday before No Surrender. You got Motor City Machine Guns versus Bailey and Gresham. You got Allison Kay versus Taya. You got Diener and Callahan versus Yuya and Frankie. Monsters Ball, Trey versus Crazy Steve for the X Division title. And then Bully and Tommy in a Beat the Clock matches individually. Good show. I saw Tommy Dreamer put some out there that there's going to be some surprises, some things that continue the storylines. So look forward to that. Look forward to the development going in No Surrender and beyond. But let me hear you guys' feedback. Of course, thank you as always for liking, subscribing, getting those numbers up. 359 on subs. We're on our way to 400. We're on our way to the 2022 Bound for Glory goal of 400. Was that what it was? But I love you guys. I thank you for consuming this whatever way you do. Thank you for spreading the word to whoever's doing that on Reddit and beyond. Facebook, I thank you. Thank you for everyone who's reaching out. It's really cool, man. I appreciate you guys. RK Shuttlesworth. But speaking of Masha, did anyone see that Mac Masters ad with Masha, Jordan, and a bunch of other wrestlers? I did, yeah. I think there was AEW people on it as well, I think, yeah, right? Pretty cool, man. Good time to be an Impact fan. I said it last week, I'll say it again. Building this community one fan at a time, one friend at a time. That means us every Sunday, but Impact as well. Numbers are up for Impact in all different ways. Let's keep that up. Thanks, Masalko. You too. You have a good week. I look forward to Thursday. I look forward to Friday. And then I look forward to Sunday, getting to talk to you guys again, this time with Lucha. It'll be a fun time. It'll be off the rails, as you know. But look forward, guys. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night.